So please introduce yourself.
And then just the camp.
Okay, hello. My name's Debbie Lucas. I'm a dietitian. This is John. He's a chef. So you say to him, yes, chef, all the time. And so welcome, it's tax day. So our theme today is no tax cooking. So we're trying to go for super easy, quick things. And we'll talk about how we can make some things even quicker. But John and I talked about this and we were trying to decide what to make. And we really feel like lots of stuff we make is easy, but it does take a little time and a little chopping. So today, my recipes, I'm kind of going for the barely any chopping, although I had Leanne who chopped up some onions for me. But sometimes if you just spend an hour cooking, now you're going to have no tax the rest of the week because you already have this already made. So sometimes I think that can be a nice trade-off. Hello. What do you think about no tax cooking, John?
I don't like to have a lot of work. I try to get things done in an hour. Cooking, but that often gets me chopping a lot sooner. And so one of the things that turns out with the red sauce recipe is that there's a lot of stuff that would take me 15 minutes, half an hour just in prep every day that I cook something in red sauce. And I will have 4 days of it from this recipe.
Right.
So
it's
like income tax, you little bits early on so that when the time comes.
You pay quarterly, so you don't have to pay a bunch at the end. Okay, so
my nephew was in college. His buddies would make hot spaghetti like this. And take 4 days with them.
Well, that works too. But if depending on the things you make, a lot of the things we make are very freezable too. In fact, I told my husband last night, we said, what are we gonna have for dinner? So we got to start eating out of our freezer because I have no more containers. We got to eat out of the freezer this week. Yeah, the Tupperwares are empty. The little glass containers are gone. We got to get rid of it all. Okay, yours is going to take a little longer, so you better start.
Okay, so this is in watching this is a recipe done by the Sarno brothers who do Wicked Healthy. And the recipe that we're using is one that's online, but they also have videos, each brother doing it. The older brother uses carrots instead of red bell peppers. And he says that the bell pepper or the carrot is for an element of sweetness. So feel free to imagine what you could use in place here. They also use a ton of olive oil, which we're not going to do. The older brother, Eric, says use aquafaba if you're not going to use 2 cups of oil.
That's the juice from these garbanzo beans.
That's a lot of olive.
Yeah,
It is.
it is.
Can you do happy?
No. I mean, you could because
You're making it.
no. So I'm going to start with a cold pot. With my onions, which are grossly chopped. I'm not chopping these into little tiny bits.
The stove's not on, you're saying.
It's not on.
Okay.
And I'm putting the bell pepper in as well. Again, kind of grossly chopped. Now I'm going to turn it on.
What's the point of doing it that way?
If you start with a hot pot, you may begin the sort of frying, scorching, browning. And that's not the point of cooking. It's
Interesting.
You're trying to get the sweetness out of everything. We don't have salt, so I'm going to use a little bit of aminos here to sort of suck.
What are liquid aminos?
Well, you take this,
I gotcha.
you take this coconut and you squeeze it.
Okay.
What did he say?
We take the coconut and you squeeze it.
I think it's a
And
different.
these things come out.
So it's aminos?
No, but that's not coconut, is it?
No,
Coconut
I think this is soy.
This is vegetable protein from non-GMO soybeans and purified water.
So it's
Liquid
soy
meat.
sauce.
So it's like a, it's sort of like a soy sauce.
Unfermented.
Okay, so
Fermented.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's basically unfermented soy.
yeah.
Okay.
They
What?
promote it as low sodium, but it's really.
Why not just say it?
I thought this was healthier and they fill a lot more protein.
Because it's sexy.
It does have less sodium than soy sauce.
No,
It really doesn't. It's
this number is measured by the teaspoon. The soy
soy
sauce
sauce
is
is
a
by the
tablespoon.
tablespoon.
So when you add the 3 teaspoons together, it's about the same number.
Yeah.
So
So why do you use that instead of soy sauce?
I use it because we have no salt here.
Oh, okay.
I want the salt because I'm trying
Yeah.
to get some
And I
cells
was
to break
really
down and
confused.
give it
It
sugar.
has the same amount of salt. It's, how can it be no salt?
Oh, it's not. That's just
Oh.
how they try marketing. It's all marketing. It's to get us confused. So it's doing the trick. We don't know what aminos are. We think, oh, it's got no salt in it.
It's like with labels, you know, they produce these food labels, but then they make them confusing if they can't.
Yeah, you were
You can't compare apples to apples on these labels.
Give it a little more. This talks about medium, high heat, medium heat. Depends on your hurry. You can turn this and you can cook it quickly. You're still gonna have a semi-raw bit in the middle. Patience is what the sauce is all about, and both brothers emphasized that it was their grandma's recipe. Grandma always had a pot on the stove simmering. Didn't matter when you showed up, there it was. And they called it grandma's gravy. So now I've got a little bit of like heat going on, so this would be 4 or 5 minutes. So
okay. I'll chit chat. So what's your go-to quickest meal that you make?
Spaghetti process.
Spaghetti, tacos. And what? Tacos. Yeah, for me, I would say tacos, burritos. You're right. What-
Salad in a bag with a can of beans.
There you go. Salad in a bag with a can of beans. Absolutely. Okay.
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal. Yeah, you're right. Oatmeal's good. And you know, I know people buy the oatmeal that is already cooked or the oatmeal that you know, just add boiling water. And I think it's all fine if you want, but the more convenient it is, the more it costs and the more salt you're going to get. So for oatmeal, I can cook it in my microwave for 2 minutes. So I got 2 minutes. But if you don't, then that might be a good way to go. What? Use your hot pot. Yeah. See, that's good too. Yeah, using the hot pot is good.
I only hear about it if I count the hours wrong and it's not ready in my life. She's mad.
So today I'm going to make just a quick stir fry using frozen veggies and a quick salad using bagged already cut up stuff. But again, remember, the more convenient it is and the faster it is, a lot of times it means you're paying more money for it. So it depends on what works out best for you.
I have a question
Yes.
for those bagged greens. You know, sometimes they'll say no washing required. Do you believe that? I mean,
I actually do. Does anybody else, or am I just being naive? You believe it? Yeah. Yeah. Or sometimes they're triple washed.
yeah, they say triple.
I do believe it.
Yeah. Okay, you're all doing it and you're all.
And we're all here.
We're all here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that would be okay. Now we're going to serve our stir fry over rice that Leanne made in the rice cooker. But if you're at home and you wanted to be speedier, you could get like, I got this frozen brown rice that I got at Trader Joe's that you just throw the bag in.
My wife loves those things.
Yeah, okay, my husband does too, especially if it's a night when I don't want to have rice, but he does. Now we can cook that. Again, it's a lot more expensive than just doing a bag of rice. Or bin rice or however you like. But it is way faster. Does anybody have any other ricey things they do that are fast?
Safeway has those little bowl ones, you just throw in the microwave for 90 seconds. There's brown rice and jasmine.
Okay, I've seen those too at my Rayleigh's. You're right. You throw them in the microwave. And those are great too. There's the ones that are in the little, almost like a Jello cup size. Is that right?
Oh, I can know, they got, this is a bigger.
Is it bigger? Okay,
Yeah, it's
all
the
right.
Safeway brand.
all right. And then Paul taught me, because I didn't even know this was a thing, that Barilla, I think it's come through on my phone yet, but Barilla pasta makes some already pre-cooked pastas.
Really?
They're in a bag and you throw them in the microwave, right, Paul?
Yeah, for 60 seconds.
And they have like, yeah, it didn't come through for me somehow.
They offer a lot of different types of stuff. So they make.
And they make a lot of them, a lot of different shapes. Yeah, like the fusilli and the different things.
Wow.
And you just microwave. And they're wheat, or a lot of them. So that's another way to like just speed up. You do that and you have your nano sauce and you're set.
Oh, can you cook rice in a microwave?
The kind that's not like if you just got regular
Raw
rice.
Yeah,
I never have. Has anybody done that? Cook regular long grain rice in the microwave.
yeah.
Rice has to absorb water if it's the kernel.
Right, so if it's dry, it's supposed to absorb the water.
Right, so are you putting water in with the rice then
Mhm.
in your microwave?
Should work as long as you have the right kind
Yeah,
of
as
container.
long as there's water.
Well, I don't know, maybe it's too fast, rice has to.
Doesn't have time to
Yeah.
absorb. Yeah, I don't know. I've never tried it.
I'll have to
Okay,
look at my
it's
rice
really-
when I go home.
Okay.
See if it's good.
Yeah,
Steam rice,
uh-huh,
cooking on steam, but using
right.
water.
That's right, you have to put a tight lid on it, you can't do that.
And you can't, yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna add the garlic, and you'll see on the recipe, it says 9 cloves.
Whoa.
This
Is that 9 cloves? That looks like a lot more than that.
This is 9 cloves. But if you, the older brother has 25, he has 12. The recipe in the book says 2. So I'm going with 9.
That is a lot.
It looks a lot, but one thing about cooking garlic is that it mellows the garlic. If you were taking this straight, like in a salad, you'd be, no one would be around you. So we're just gonna throw this in. We're gonna throw in, there's a big amount of fresh oregano. And it's a background flavor. We're putting it in early, so a lot of that flavor is gonna be an under flavor rather than front of the nose. And there is a shake of crushed red pepper in here. That's just for character building. And that's until we get to the tomatoes, which
We have enough carrots, but we need-
no,
So if we wanted to even tax-free this up more, we could have bought the onions already chopped, the peppers already chopped. For mine, I could have gotten the onions already chopped. So there are things you can even tax-free things up more.
but there's no fun in that.
Some of us find that fun. though.
You gotta have that nice and. So I'm gonna, now that I've mixed together the oregano and the garlic, just sort of let them get rolling. I'm gonna add the tomatoes. These are San Marzanos, which I usually don't cook with. You can use any tomato. The San Marzano are harvested ripe, so they're slightly sweeter than what you get in regular store-bought tomatoes. And with those, you might want a pinch of sugar, which doesn't say on this, but in the book, it says a pinch of sugar. That's to balance against the acid of the modern canned tomato. But I just started buying these just to see what it'd be like. And it's fun to try them once in a while.
And is that a supermarket?
Yeah,
Buy or-
these are a supermarkets. Some are very pricey, $9 a can.
Oh, wow,
Don't go there.
right.
Don't go.
Now, when I see them on sale, I snatch some up.
So therefore, what we're gonna do is. There's also a thing here, half a can of
See?
water, that's the younger brother. He takes one of these cans, puts water in it. Then he pours it straight in. The older brother takes the can,
That's a double thing.
pours it in the other
Oh.
can. Because his grandma said, don't waste your tomatoes. We'll add that in. So now we're gonna break up the tomatoes, but essentially the cooking part is done. Well, not quite. I see a bowl of tomato paste.
Yes.
A darker flavor of tomato. This is something usually in a smaller recipe, I get the tube.
Yeah, the tube of tomato paste, because recipes only call for like 2 tablespoons.
and
Beats opening a can for just
Absolutely.
the little squeeze tubes. I thought they were done in the beginning. But they-
I love the squeeze tubes.
you don't waste half a can of. Because I wind up with a can sitting in the refrigerator with.
So
It's
big
like,
business, nobody likes that.
so this is now going to simmer. And we recommend simmer for an hour and a half, 2 hours. As long as it takes for your grandchildren to show up and.
We're all.
We're gonna make this happen rapidly. You have,
There's a fancy sugar, you use maple syrup.
sure,
I'm using a lot of maple syrup instead of sugar.
sure, no, you can use anything to sweeten it up. And it's not a lot, you're not going for a tablespoon, you're going just a pinch to break the acidity. Now, the older brother says if you don't have an immersion blender, use a masher. And in my normal cooking, I like lumpy sauce. Just something very satisfying about the lumps. And I will take a sauce like this, I'll add mushrooms and zucchini and things. I want presents. But we're making what they call a gravy. This is going to be more or less smooth. So it can be used in different ways. Oh, thank you. That's another
I'm
thing.
afraid you're gonna split your wrists when you come over there.
That's something the older brother also said. Just push these in because you don't want disasters to happen.
No.
Either in the kitchen or in the dump where animals go and eat the stuff. Anyway, so this is, you can use a masher, you can let it be lumpy, or in this instance, we're going to cook it more or less smooth, so that it can be slurped up by the pasta. The pasta is going to be a fusilli that's made of chickpea flour. And I saw a recipe online that whenever they use the fusilli, they call it a wiggle. And it's now a wiggle in the house. Red sauce wiggle.
Good brand of those.
So we're gonna cover this just because when it boils, it's gonna pop. But we want to leave some air because we want it to cook down. Right now, it's pretty loose. So we need to cut to,
My turn? Okay, so I'm gonna start with my frozen vegetables stir fry. Does anybody like to use frozen vegetables? You know, I've always been able to use them. I always think, oh, they're not gonna be as good, but I've started using the frozen vegetables, stir fry vegetables. I got these, this just happens to be the Rayleigh's brand. And so I think they're always really good. So the only thing that you have to cook a little first are the onions.
There's not onions in the bag.
Might be, but probably not enough. Let's see.
It's like garlic.
There's a little onion, but it's way down. So I think, yeah, just like we always need a little more garlic, a little more. So we just cook that up just a little bit. Instead of the oil that the recipe called for, I use vegetable broth. The low sodium vegetable broth, the same one that I made my little stir fry sauce. So again, if we were going to go even more tax-free, then I might have just bought a stir fry sauce, although it'd be probably higher in sodium and maybe oil. And I could have already gotten my onions chopped or left them out, because you're right, there's some in here. So once this gets going, they're a little soft. Now I'm just gonna add my frozen veggies. You can just leave them frozen. You don't have to unfreeze. So this one has broccoli, snap peas, green beans, celery, carrots, water, chestnuts, onion, and red pepper. And you cook it for like 5 minutes. And then we're gonna add the sauce on. Now I made the sauce, but you don't have to because you can buy stir fry sauces. But this one called for the vegetable broth. I used the tamari to make it gluten-free. I used either maple syrup, brown sugar, or agave. I used agave because that's what we had here. I did put a little sesame oil in it, and I grated the ginger and garlic. Again, to make it faster, you get those tubes of ginger and garlic. Just like the tomato paste one, you get the little tubes, and that makes life so great. I love that. Now, we could add a little protein to this. So instead of doing my tofu like I normally do and press it and get the water out and then maybe marinate it, I just went, this is Trader Joe's baked tofu. So they seasoned it, they pressed it, it's all ready to go. So I'm gonna add that after these get a little thawed. So what are your favorite frozen veggies? What do you use? What should I be using?
Pretty good. They have a large one, so a large bag of frozen vegetables, mixed vegetables like that, broccoli.
Okay. All right. Okay, so they have big bags at Costco. All right, good. All right. What else we got out there?
Well,
What do
I
you-
get peas, but I don't eat them just plain. I use them to put in other things.
Okay. So this recipe I'm making today, we're gonna serve it over rice. But you could also at some point throw in your cooked rice and now you got fried rice. So we could do that too. Pretty much the same sauce. And then I throw my peas in for that. You gotta have peas when you have fried rice. Okay, I'm gonna add this one. Okay, this is my baked tofu. I'm gonna use a little bit more. I'm gonna use some of this in my salad, and then I'm gonna have chickpeas on the side for people who want to have beans. So basically, you just have to like heat all this through. And then I think if you started doing these things, and then you got, I'm gonna get takeout tonight, Chinese takeout. We can have this instead. You don't need to get Chinese takeout. And this is so much cheaper. My talk next month is going to be on eating on a budget, which I think we all need these days. Can you imagine how high this food's going to go? It's been crazy. Now I'm going to add my little sauce.
So the bulk of that is the broth.
And then there was some sauces. There was a soy sauce, the tamari sauce,
Right,
and
but
maple syrup. But yeah, most of it.
any cornstarch?
What?
Is there any cornstarch?
Yes, thank you. I added cornstarch because that's what's going to help it thicken up. Good point. So they say just leave it on here till it thickens up a little bit. Okay, oh, it smells good. All right,
I just remember the co-op sells a mixed vegetable that has asparagus in it. And I just take that,
ah,
mix it up.
so that would be
Right.
nice to have asparagus in it too, you're right.
But it's like when a co-op sells a one, I just cut it in half.
Yeah,
But I just take stir fry out. And then do the stir fry and then put it over rice. And we always have rice.
see, that is a quick meal, you're right. Now, we're doing this over rice, but has anybody tried these little ramen noodles? I get these at Costco. Although, like all things at Costco, you get them, you start to depend on them, and then they're not there anymore. But then sometimes they come back. I don't know. They're really just the blocks of ramen, like when you were in college, without the seasoning. These are gluten-free and they're made from millet and brown rice. And these are great to serve over this too. And these are, you cook in 4 minutes.
Are those big?
Yeah. Yeah, so they're not fried like thank you for saying that. When you get the little ramen packets for 10 cents, they're still 10 cents. When I was in college, they were 10 cents. But those are fried before they put them in the little bag. This is not.
I got those at Sprouts too.
You got them at Sprouts?
You get it with the co-op.
Co-op?
With the sodium.
No. Well, now that I say that, so sure, let me make sure. 1.5 grams of fat, 0 cholesterol, 0 sodium, 23 grams of carb, 2 grams of fiber. And the ingredients are brown rice flour and organic millet flour. So they take the rice, they take the millet, they grind it up, and then they go. 4 minutes in boiling water. Done. Okay. John, how you doing?
Doing fine, stirring every 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
We've only been at this for about 15,
Yes.
only half an hour to go, but I think we'll probably
I think we'll do it.
blend it in another 10 minutes or so, just so we can eat.
So we can eat. Okay.
You know, I think it, no, it's, the flavors will mature, but
All right.
we can eat them.
Okay, that'll be all right. Okay, so what are some other quick things? So we got now quick rice, we got quick pasta, we have a can of beans, we got bagged salad. What else we have that's quick? What?
What? What?
Yeah, that is true. You're right. So we're making quick, healthy stuff, so easy already. And you know, to have quick meals, when I told my sister we were gonna do like a quick meal thing, she said, oh, you need pantry meals. So stuff that you've stocked in your pantry or freezer that you could just always throw something together. So that's why I think tacos are always really fast. How do you make your tacos?
Like them fried, the shells are fried,
Uh-huh.
and then beans on top. Meanwhile, there's a whole selection of veggies.
Toppings,
and
okay.
cheese to
All right.
Put on it. And then the pie, prep your plate, fold it and put it in the microwave for just a minute or something.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you don't heat your beans. You heat the whole thing at the end.
You do it in the fry pan.
Oh, okay.
The first those shells are
Right.
sauteed with,
Yeah.
with the beans in it.
Uh-huh.
And when you're ready to fold it, then you can then add the extra
Okay, that's good.
things.
All right.
And then melt the cheese,
Yeah.
put in the microwave.
Okay. Oh, I see. So if you always have tortillas on hand, your corn, your flour, whatever you like, if you have a can of beans, and you can use refried beans, you could use whole black beans, pinto beans, whatever you like. My husband always likes to have corn with his, so we always have some frozen corn. We heat those up. We warm our tortillas usually on the stovetop or in the microwave. And then we make our tacos and you have all your little veggies along the side. So you're right, you got tacos. So easy. All right, what's another quick meal?
Well, you could just get some nuts and eat nuts and fruit, and vegetables.
You could. Good, so,
I mean, raw vegetables.
right, you're right.
You seen the Dino Time story, I think it was NPR. There's a woman who was a science teacher in, I think, middle school. And had a baby and had all the demands that having a baby had, and she was worried about not getting her greens. And so she started getting a package of raw spinach, was grabbing a bunch and jamming it in her mouth, and munching like dinosaurs on Flintstones Jurassic Park. She had seen something like that originally, and it has become a thing apparently. She did it on Instagram, and suddenly all God's children are doing it enough so that NPR and New York Times. And she said, this doesn't replace a meal. It's that it just make sure that you get your greens. And I thought,
More
well,
power to her.
Yeah.
be serious. You are not a dinosaur. Dinosaurs wouldn't have the bag.
Well, that is true, you're right.
They probably won't.
Yeah, so they didn't have much. food.
Couldn't open it.
But it kind of goes back to your pantry and fridge idea. You gotta stock, you gotta know what you like, know what your kind of go-to dishes are, and then stock your pantry and your freezer with those items. So that you always have some go-to. You always have the pasta, you always have the rice, you always have the taco stuff. So you can also then make things in advance, like just this week, we made our veggie burgers, so now we can always pull those out if we want to, and then we got a bunch of veggies to go with it. So my salad, not like my little stir fry I did last month, but this calls, I use all bag. It's grated or shredded cabbage, red cabbage, and it's supposed to have romaine, but I seem to have not gotten that on my list of things to get. And carrots. So we're going just cabbage and carrots. This is just a bag of it from Trader Joe's. I'm gonna dump this in here. They've already done all the work. Now, if you didn't want to do this, you could do that bag of broccoli slaw that I love so much. That would work too. And then let's see, maybe I want to have my little protein with that. So I could throw in my garbanzo beans, but we'll leave those on the side. And I'm going to throw in my baked tofu. But we could use edamame. What else could I put in there? Soy curls. I was going to do soy curls, but I thought that would take up too much of my time. And then it calls for a little dressing that you make, not unlike how we did last month, but I'm going to use my same jarred sauce, my little peanut sauce that I have.
It is a packaged item or something that you made and put in that jar?
Oh, no, this is a packaged item. I bought it,
Okay.
and we compared it last month to the one we homemade with the PB2, and they were similar and good.
So
This
that's
is-
like a pad type thing sauce?
It's ginger peanut sauce.
And that's from Trader Joe's, or where did you?
I believe I got it at Winco.
Is it really peanut?
It's not super peanutty because it's not super high in fat either. So if I use just peanut butter, it would be more so. This uses like PB2 in it with the defatted peanut butter.
Oh.
So I'm just gonna pour that over.
Any allergy concern,
PB2?
peanut,
Dried peanut, but it's dried peanut powder, basically.
Yeah, defatted
minus
peanuts
a
that
lot
they've
of fat.
powdered.
They take a lot of fat out.
Put it in a bottle.
Yeah, it comes in a can.
Yeah, sometimes I think we have it.
Really?
That'd be in the freezer.
Oh.
You squeeze out.
We'll pass this around so you can take a look at it. I get it in the bins at Winco. Because I am excessively cheap.
Frugal.
Frugal, thank you. That
That's
just
right.
looks so much better. My mom,
Days were being smart.
Right.
that's true. I have a minimalist mentality. Okay, You just get this till it's wet enough for you.
And what are the other things in the bowl there?
Okay, so we're gonna top these with peanuts, crushed peanuts. I'm gonna top this with my green onions and probably this too. And then I got some cilantro. That's for this one. And then the garbanzo beans are gonna be on the side.
Don't add wine to your tomato sauce. Amy?
Add what?
Wine.
Well,
Oh,
when I make this, I don't stop here. I, yeah,
So you're
taken-
holding out.
I've taken porcini mushrooms, you know, to dry. I powder those in my spice. I put a couple of teaspoons of the powder in. I take one of those little bottles of wine and give it a good glug, maybe a quarter cup. Because the alcohol will free up something in the tomatoes that gives me more flavor. You could use vodka, but you know, wine you can use in the house. Vodka is cleaning supplies. You know, what else would I?
some people like vodka. I don't.
They start out saying. And then it will be what I've got in the house. Usually a red sauce for me will also have spinach. Because spinach, having just straight red is okay. Having a green like spinach, or adding zucchini, or adding something more. It's just that much more that becomes part of the overall flavor. In the end, I will use my come on. The cheese, pecorino,
Oh,
the pecorino cheese, take pecorino and make with cashews and almonds and nutritional yeast and miso
yeah, miso is what makes it.
and onion flakes.
I think more miso based than.
Yeah, miso.
Yeah, it adds a great flavor.
It's a really good salt. Unsalty, salty. Big umami. And so there'll be an umami bomb on top of the flavor bomb. And then pasta that can hold it.
Okay, so I added cilantro, I added peanuts. I can't remember if I added these, but I don't see them. And then on my pasta, I'm gonna sprinkle my green onions on there too. I mean, on my stir fry, my green onions. And then it called for sesame seeds. I'm gonna sprinkle that over the top. So I think this one in particular would be a good potluck dish.
You know,
So easy. Okay, I'm ready. How are you doing?
well, I'm ready to call it done. I'll just unplug it and give it a buzz.
Okay. So what are you gonna do with that? So if you have, you said maybe you'd eat it for 4 days. So what other things are you gonna do with it?
Aside from the lasagna that we'll be making tomorrow,
Yes.
if you add, instead of the oregano, cumin and coriander
Okay.
and chilies, you have a red sauce that you can then make shakshuka, which is a North African, Middle Eastern dish. They would use a whole egg and have it poached in the sauce, but you can also take tofu and do the same. It's not nearly as fun, but it's good spicy and flavorful.
You could put kidney beans in there
You
too.
can put, you can do kidney beans, chili powder, chilies. Again, the older brother doesn't put the oregano, the older brother So you, by all means, the spice inches here. It's what your plan is. If the fewer you have, and just go with the onion, garlic, and tomato. The closer you are to whatever other things you want to plan with this, it's a gravy. So if I were making ratatouille, which means a California thing, I would add marjoram, basil, a little more oregano, some thyme, get a really herby thing, put it on top of my zucchini and eggplant and peppers, and then roast it. It's ready to go for them. It's just, what would you use a red sauce for? And as both brothers said, this is a mother sauce, as in one of the basic sauces to have on hand, to know about.
Did you say top pizza?
No, but in fact, that's one of the reasons that you would blend it, is that something nice smooth
Smooth, you're right.
to smear across, whatever you use for pizza. You can serve it on top of pullin. You should use Dr. Apple to make it worthy. But anyway, I'm gonna trim this off.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some students that are rookies and I'm just sticking around for the meeting.
Oh,
This is reasonable.
that's right. Thank goodness.
Oh, why the? You're not vegetarian.
So,
You've got one too many. Go to breaker.
what's that?
Oh, that's right.
Breaker.
No, I unplugged the stove.
Oh.
We know, we've been busted before. So what do you want to mention on our quick meals? Like, I feel like these are sort of dinner. What's a quick lunch? Peanut butter and jam, leftovers, tacos. Soup. Bunch of little things, perfect little lunch, kind of snacky, yes. Here, sorry,
Hummus and veggie wrap.
hummus and veggie wrap, I love that, okay. You're right,
My daughter likes, I'm a Sonic brand. They eat a lot of it.
yeah,
Stuffed bell peppers.
stuffed bell peppers. Now, that would likely be a leftover, I think.
Yeah.
Like you made it for dinner and then you have leftover. I don't know if we could throw that together for lunch. A salad, Linda's bag salad with beans or baked tofu or soy or
Potato,
Something.
baked potato.
baked potato. Ooh, that would be kind of good, quick one. What are we gonna put on the baked potato?
Onion,
Okay,
cilantro,
yes,
cheese.
okay. All right,
I have one.
Yes.
I occasionally get the Fiesta bag of frozen vegetables mixed with a mixture of beans,
okay.
and I throw in some spicy cashews.
Oh,
in the bed. I like that.
that sounds fun. Okay. That's a good idea. And you know, this recipe called for peanuts, but those cashews would be fun on it too.
The spicy.
The spicy ones, yes. Where do you get those?
Winko.
Is that where I found them? Somebody, I have some at home and I can't think of where I got them. So I must have gotten them at Winco.
Maybe.
Okay, all right. Are they in the bins or only in bags?
Bins,
Bins, all right, good.
because then I can add as many, it's easier to deal with the amounts.
I agree. I like that.
Well, you know, for people who eat cheese, you can also take, get frozen mixed vegetables
Yes,
and just cook them and then put some cheese on
Uh-huh.
top of it.
okay. Or if you don't need cheese, we could use like that pecorino that John was talking about, one that you've already made. Like I have a jar of it in my fridge and I just dump it on things. I would dump it on a dish. Okay. So I think the key to quick meals is to have the pantry stocked. So think about what you feel like your fastest meals that you like, that you would look forward to, that would keep you from going through the drive-through. Because you know, oh, I have that at home and it's really good. And get that stuff in your pantry or your freezer.
It's gonna have to be in the car.
Okay, in that case, we might need to have a little snack that we bring, so that
Spicy
we're not so tempted. Okay, so I think, are we ready, John?
I think so.
Okay. So we've got the pasta and the noodles. We've got rice and stir fry. We've got the kind of Thai peanut salad. We have the garbanzo beans, which are really meant for the salad, but you could use them for either. Some cilantro, got a few peanuts and green onions left. So come on up, let's see how this is.
And John, you're done as well?
Yes.